Hey yo, it's Riser here, and today we're reacting to Gay's new manga called Mojuro. Supposedly, they're saying it's a JJK sequel. That would be amazing if it's starting off from JJK, where we ended.
I mean, we just got the announcement of season 3. We found out Gege was working on a
Season
new
3 is gonna be
manga.
tough.
I, like a lot of people, assumed that we wouldn't be getting much.
So his design, the green hair, he got the earth in the palm of his hands, like the ring around him, like give me Saturn, he got marks on the side like Sukuna does on the side of his face,
For the time being, all for the series
and
that
that patch on
Gege
his
is
forehead.
working on to turn out to be a sequel to Jujutsu Kaisen, taking
Okay, so it
place
is
68
Panda.
years in the future, following the life of his two
Panda's
grandchildren.
still
So
alive?
there's this spoiler alert alien fellow.
Oh, he's
So
an alien.
today
Okay.
I want to talk to you about the events that take place in this chapter, as well as
This
what it
must mean the
means
main
for us
trio.
going forward. Despite the incredibly different art style, yes, this is in fact a sequel to Jujutsu Kaisen. However, upon the reveal, Gege had a lot to say about this new series, as well as when and where it takes place, as well as what to expect in the future. Here, he basically talks about how he got many propositions for stories set in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. However, he didn't like the idea of JJK's world being spread out in ways he couldn't control and manage. But when he got this offer, he thought it could help expand the universe, even if
Sakuna.
slightly
I
different
forgot. I
and
forgot
different
that. I
themes,
think it's. I
and
forgot their
also
name. Other
open the
person.
door for more projects in the future, which makes sense since we are supposedly getting some horror novels set in
Nobara.
the JJK universe as
Oh,
well.
horror
So it looks like
JJK.
this series is going to be a shorter serialization, only coming out for around 6 months or about 3 volumes worth of Mojuro,
Only
or
6 months.
Jujutsu Kaisen 3 Mojuro.
6 months of
But
Mojuro.
with that being said, let's jump back into the world of Jujutsu Kaisen for the first time in around a year. Unfortunately, however, before I get into it, I will say this. Just so I don't get sued, I will have to use images and visuals to kind of emulate what's being shown, just because if I use the actual leaks, Gege will come from my channel personally. So
Oh,
when I do show translations on screen, it will just be text of fan translations. However, I have had some pieces coloured and I'll put them on screen just so you have something to help you visualize what's happening.
I ain't trying to get sued, my boy.
The plot. The chapter starts off with what is arguably one of the most controversial things to ever grace the Jujutsu Kaisen universe: aliens. And as a result of this, people are already
Aliens.
comparing it to Boruto, but we'll get into that a bit more later. We basically have a big hench leader alien who is covered in tattoos similar to Sukuna, as well as trousers similar to Sukuna, with large horns and a third eye in the center of his forehead, but only 2 arms by the looks of it. I would really like to show you, but you'll have to wait until the officials come out or find the
That
leaks
is true.
yourself. They call themselves Sumeria aliens. They appear in space above Nevada, like Area 51, which is kind of funny.
So we got aliens in here now.
And it seems to have the greatest power. They think it's America at first, but then they talk about how Japan seemingly has a race similar to themselves, these aliens, referring to sorcerers. The conversation itself being had here with this leader alien is also being held with a character who looks very similar to one of our main characters who we saw in our promotional material. But it might not be him, it might be his twin, but we'll get into that later. But this character specifically on screen is called Maruru Vavru Yelvri.
Mabaru.
Thank God, we can just
Vabru.
call him Maru.
Yovery.
We then get the cover art of the
Long
character
name.
of the series, just like the series before it. We will be following a trio, the aforementioned Maru and the 2 other Ayuta Okotsu and Maki Zenin's grandchildren. Remember from that one
Oh,
chapter
Omaki. Oh, she got grandchildren now?
the girl and the boy
Yuka.
Tsurugi.
Like
We start
Yuta.
off with a flash of Yuka when she's younger, playing outside with Yuta, who is now much, much older than we saw him last. In this flashback, we see Yuta giving Yuka Rika's ring. He says that he's
Oh,
worried
he
about
finally
her,
letting go
she's so
Rika.
mischievous. Yuta gives her Rika's ring to help watch over her until she becomes a
2080, it
adult.
seems
We
like.
then flash forward a little bit to when she's 6, hanging around Yuta some more. It's very adorable and wholesome. Someone in the background says that Yuka is very much a grandpa's girl, which very much seems to be the case. We then flash to when Yuka is 10 years old, attending Yuta's funeral. The surrounding characters tell us that Maki passed away
R.I.P.
before Yuta did, and because of that, Yuka has been losing more and more of her spirit. We also hear that
R.I.P.
Maki
Yuta.
expected Maki to pass away first, which makes sense. She seems like she would try to fight the Grim Reaper before he could take her, but at this point Yuka then vows to become strong, just like Yuta was. What seems to be Yuka's mother then appears and takes Rika's ring, saying that it's registered to the Gojo family vault and that it's a
Gojo.
dangerous curse
Gojo
ring.
got. Okay,
And since
Gojo's
it's
still in
so
here.
dangerous, Yuka's brother will now be keeping a hold of the ring. Yuka obviously protests and tries to fight her older brother for the ring, who is 11 years old at this point. She tries to punch him and take the
So I
ring,
guess this girl right here is Yuka. I mean, yeah.
and bruise on her head.
She got the
So she
ring.
then vows to get stronger, so everyone acknowledges that she's stolen
Okatsu to
our famous
Suguri.
ring. We then see a man seemingly
Sugi.
watching the news, saying that Japanese people are being abducted as an energy source, which makes sense
By
since
the
they
aliens,
are
probably.
offering cursed energy to the public. So specifically in Kyoto, it says child abduction cases are through the roof. So that's the through line for the start of this chapter. These three are on a mission to find out what's behind these missing children cases, specifically.
I think this is Yuka. I think this is her older brother, and this is
Kyoto.
the main character who I said earlier with the rings around him because he got the scars.
Why is Maru here? Since he's, an
Yeah,
alien.
Mario.
He seems to have come to Earth under the guise of being a foreign sorcerer from another country, attempting to see how Japanese sorcerers
Miguel.
operate. And he is then introduced to us by someone who is seemingly a teacher, or at least an adult sorcerer, who we don't specifically get a name for at this point, by the looks of it. Maru here is clearly completely clueless, not just about humans, but about jujutsu, not even knowing what the word is or means. Usami is then randomly mentioned as Yuka brings
It's like
up
Yuji
how,
did.
since the security
I had no clue what it was.
Shinjuku, sometimes security inspections happen, which apparently Usami mentioned, which is a bit of a random character to be brought up. But we follow these three as they investigate the area in Kyoto. But Maru starts off by stating that he can't interfere with their mission, so they can't rely on him. And those orders he got from the quote higher ups, which is an intriguing thing to mention. So the siblings then agree to ditch Maru and leave him behind because he's seemingly just an annoyance. To which Maru, surprised about this, sits down and
I was right about the older brother.
Then discuss Tsurugi and how strong he is. Usami apparently says that Tsurugi and Yuka are around equal in strength, but Tsurugi trains only his physical body, which Yuka thinks makes him a bit of a show-off and annoys her because she just wants to get the ring back. So Maru and Yuka then go to the investigation site to get Tsurugi. They get led down a path inside a barrier. I'm not going to lie, the translation here is a bit iffy, so I'm not going to explain how they find him. They just do. But they are at this point inside a curse user's barrier. But when they meet up with Tsurugi and talk about the mission, Maru mentions that he also has a twin brother who may have been the alien on the ship we saw at the start. They then get to the investigation area and set it up by putting, police tape and trying to corner off the area that they've been led to. Then a random child runs past the barrier and immediately gets kidnapped by two large hands that teleport the child somewhere random. And then suddenly the same thing happens to Tsurugi, and he
the aliens be teleporting people away.
left behind and
They're probably some safe holes or something.
Tsurugi starts yapping some exposition to us. Basically, he's the dude who captures the kids in the surrounding area and he sells them as batteries.
Oh,
some fire punch.
trafficking.
He has scores of children stored behind him in plastic bags being kept alive. It's a pretty creepy visual, to be honest. The captor also mentions that Tsurugi's cursed energy is weak, but because he is a sorcerer, he's going to be put up for sale just like the children behind him. But since he has a low amount of cursed energy and not just zero cursed energy, that means he more than likely has a heavenly restriction like early Maki. Then the captor brings up the events in Shinjuku and calls it the death roaming, saying that the event was stopped by strong sorcerers like Gojo and Yuji, but the event itself caused treaties to be signed between different countries. This captor then proceeds to stamp on Tsurugi's head a bunch until the door next to him gets kicked open by Yuka, and upon Yuka appearing in front of a captured Tsurugi, she immediately challenges him to a duel. The two throw
Are you fighting?
Handling here of Hikari vs Kashima, which is pretty cool. But Tsurugi beats the snot of his sister.
That was a good fight. Kashima Hikari.
She cries a little and then challenges the child snatcher. She uses a curse technique to attack him, which makes her fists appear like claws. And it reminds me very much of the Bleach Hell chapter of the Gyaru character, if you remember that. Yuka then clashes with the snatcher, but since they are inside of his barrier, he can kind of teleport around a bunch, and he does
so that's basically his like domain.
He tries to fight back until Tsurugi pulls out his sword and sparks fly as he unsheaths his sword. We then get another flashback, but this time to Tsurugi when he was 7. Specifically here, he is talking with Grandma Maki, pushing Tsurugi on a swing. Maki saying she doesn't need the ring to protect him. However, after his grandparents' death, the ring is forced upon him. And the people that do so are saying that it doesn't matter if he wants the ring or not. The Gojo family says he has to have the ring.
Gojo still being relevant in this is
because of the potential of his
it's crazy.
He says he doesn't need a protective ring
even after his death.
Strong enough that he doesn't need the ring, and Yuka can have it. But this flashback moment is then interrupted as the child snatcher proceeds to make a move while on the ground. But as he does, Maru opens up the third eye on his forehead to knock out the snatcher. Upon seeing his third eye, the twins question if Maru is actually an alien, and then the chapter ends.
Conclusion.
Overall, this chapter, in my opinion, was a fun addition to a piece of the Jujutsu Kaisen universe. However, contention will arise with the introduction
Curse Clash.
of the larger part of the narrative.
It was an insane fumble.
It's been getting compared to Boruto quite frequently, which makes sense. I mean, if you look at these two series, we follow the offspring of two characters. We get introduced to aliens, which recontextualize the entire series, like the relationship between Genjaku and Tengen, as well as Sukuna's origins. So these comparisons between Boruto are not unfounded. I mean, it's literally the first chapter, and it's already dropped huge bombshells on us. So whilst I feel like this series will more than likely not get axed within the next 6 months, like Gege hopes it doesn't, I imagine that opinions on this series, especially around the start, will be mixed. But it does share some similarities with the original series. I mean, we start off with a trio again.
This manga gonna be way shorter than JJK.
Playing a relatively large role in the plot, as well as having Maki
And I
foreshadowing
guess them, the siblings, and Maru,
it's all really cool.
Yuki, Sukuri, I think, are the older brother, and Maru. That's the trio.
Pretty neat touch, and will lead to something cool in the future happening. I can just sense it. I mean,
It's the same two boys, one girl format from JJK.
back when he fought Sukuna, which is pretty funny.
I mean, two boys, one girl.
Art is also really cool. Granted, it kind of feels a little like the Dr. Stone's work in the One Piece Ace stories. Like, it's neat and cool to see, but it's also kind of a little jarring to see these character designs in a completely different light, or just a story take place in this universe that doesn't have the same look and aesthetic to the rest.
That's true. The art is different, and actually, it's not bad art. It looks good.
Sort of art, but it is still very cool art. But as I say, I can't show you a lot of the panels, so I don't get sued, right? You'll get the officials in a few days. One weird thing in this chapter, though, is how often Usami is mentioned. Maybe Gege was thinking of Mojuro and was offered it all those months ago when he put Usami in the volume extras. So he may appear in the series, or at least a relative of his. He may have been shown in the series already, but it's kind of hard to tell with the art style. Granted, obviously it's been 68 years, so most of the characters we know and love either died
68, dang.
or they just passed away from old age, like we saw with Yuta and Maki. So who knows?
Yeah, most.
That we heard Usami's name, of all people, mentioned twice, whilst Yuji and Gojo's were only really mentioned once. In conclusion, I like it, and I'm excited to see what's next for this story. The officials will drop in about 4 days, so we'll get more concise translations then, and I will probably be covering it as it releases. So let me know if you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and toodles my doodles. Hope you see you in the next one. Peace.
So far, I think my opinion is the manga is, that was actually good how it's a sequel to JJK. 68 years in the future, we got a new trio with aliens now. My one thing is, are you gonna like bring up more of Gojo, Sukuna, their fight, and all that stuff? Find out soon. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Peace.